All right. Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Podcast Engineering Show. My name is Chris Curran. I'm here every week to bring you podcast production techniques on a silver platter. We really talk about the technical aspects of producing really good audio for podcasts. So maybe you have a show you want to sound better or the best it can sound, or maybe you produce or edit shows for other people and you want to produce really great audio. This show is where we talk about all that stuff, and we alternate weeks here. In alternating weeks, I'll do a guest interview, and then on the other weeks, I do a daily goodie roundup, because the daily goodies, I should say, are my daily blog posts, which I put on the website, podcastengineeringschool.com. And every daily goodie is like a little tip or a fact or something to add to your knowledge and ability to produce really good audio. And you can sign up to receive the daily goodies in your email. And every other week, I talk about 10 or 12 of them. And that's what we're going to do today. This episode today is a daily goodie episode. And I want to mention off the bat, I'm speaking into a Heil PR30. And I'm actually pretty much right up on the microphone. And I'm using that same windscreen that I used. It's actually a Rode windscreen, kind of a big Rode windscreen that came with the Rode Broadcaster. And I have that on the PR30, and I have the PR30 plugged directly into my MixPre-6, and I have the gain set up to about plus 40 dB, or no, plus 38 actually, and pretty good level. And so the difference in this episode, well, first of all, the mic's different, but another difference, there's several. Another difference is that I'm not going into my channel strip. So normally I plug my microphone into my channel strip, which has a good preamp and a good compressor, and then I go into the computer. Today I'm just plugging the mic right into the MixPre-6, and it's going right into the computer, so I'm going to do all my compression in post-production, and I'm going to pretty much only use this new plugin called Celestial. It's actually made by a company called Acustica. I'll put the link in the show notes. And it's called Celestial, and it's actually free until like sometime in February of 2020. But don't wait. I suggest go get it. I've been playing with this plugin for about a week now, and I really like it. It's not the best. I mean, it doesn't solve every problem, meaning it's a channel strip plugin, and it has saturation and compression and EQ, a little bit of EQ, only 2 bands actually. And it has some stereo widening effects, which we really wouldn't use in podcast production. So the point is, I like the plugin a lot, but it doesn't do everything. So anyway, I thought for this episode, what I'll do, and I don't know, maybe this would be cool. In post-production, I'm only going to use that Celestial plugin on my voice. However, asterisk, how do you say that? I will be using a couple other plugins, like the gate, like the Fabfilter Pro-G, the gate. I'm going to use the gate just to gate my voice a little bit. I will also use the Fabfilter Pro-DS, which is the de-esser, in case my voice needs a little de-essing. I'm not even sure it does, because I've actually never recorded an episode with a PR30. And then I might also use the vocal rider because, again, with only using one compressor, I may need to, ride the volume of my voice a little bit more to make the loud parts not as loud and make the softer parts a little bit louder so you can hear them so everyone can hear them, especially when they're listening in a noisy environment, right? Okay, and I also want to mention that Michelle from Heil, she's going to be joining me on the show in early 2020. I'm not exactly sure when. I think late January or February, or I don't know when, but actually that's when we're going to record it. So by the time it comes out, it might be February or March. Anyhow, that's going to be really awesome to talk to Michelle from Heil about all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I'm using the PR30. Let's get into the daily goodies. The first one we're going to talk about is from October 25th, actually. And the title is Weak Wi-Fi Signal. Avoid it. Right? Okay, so a lot of people are connecting into podcasts to record podcasts from their homes or from their offices, and they're connecting over Wi-Fi, right? Because almost no one in the world these days is actually hardwired to the internet. Very few people are, right? Everyone wants the ease of like laying on a couch and being a guest on a podcast, right? So, but here's the thing. If their Wi-Fi is not like a good, strong connection, there can be all kinds of problems. Dropouts, it can degrade the sound quality. There can be disconnections, like they can drop off and then they have to reconnect and it can interrupt the whole recording. So what I suggest is before recording, make sure everyone has a good, strong Wi-Fi connection. And if you say, hey, Mr. Guest, are you on a strong Wi-Fi connection? And they say, nah, it's okay. I don't know. The router's all the way on the other side of the house. You may want to actually ask them to maybe move closer to the router. And that, that can help. And I've encountered some of the worst Wi-Fi I've ever encountered is at offices in businesses, especially big businesses where, there's like 100 people working in an office or 500 people, and there's like Wi-Fi available to everyone. But because there's so many people, the Wi-Fi is very congested, and it can be some of the sketchiest Wi-Fi ever when people connect from big companies. So a lot of guests will be like, oh, I'm joining from a conference room at XYZ company. And to me, that's like a red flag. That's like, oh my God, here we go. We're going to have to make sure, that their Wi-Fi is good enough and that they don't drop off. But it's hard because if they're in a conference room at a big company, they really can't go anywhere else. So I don't know. It's such a pain in the rump to connect people through the internet. I mean, it's not always a pain. Sometimes it's a real pain. Sometimes it's fine. But okay, next daily goodie. Checking your mixes on various monitors. All right, so when you're producing audio, a good thing to do, a really good practice, is to take your mix and go listen to that mix on various different speakers or monitors. Like, you might actually have studio speakers. That's good. You can listen to the mix on earbuds. And when I say mix, I mean basically the episode. You can listen to the episode on a car stereo, right? Play it in your car through your car speakers. You can listen on a smart speaker, on a mobile phone's built-in speaker, right? Just play it on your phone and speaker and let it, whatever. If you have a boom box, anyone have a boom box? Listen to it on there. Also your TV speakers, right? Sometimes you could play audio through your TV and through the TV speakers. That's a good place to check. So the whole idea is you're trying to listen to the episode on a bunch of different speakers and you will hear different things. But here's the thing. When you hear things that aren't good, then you can go back to the mix and tweak it a little and fix it. And then, of course, you save those settings. So, for instance, if it's like the EQ and compression on your voice, you can go listen to, you can mix it down, listen to it in many different places, and then go back to your mix in your DAW, make the adjustments like, I want to add a little bit more low end, or maybe I want to use a de-esser because my S's were way too sharp. And then you make the tweaks, and then you save those settings, right? So that's like your baseline settings. Anyway, so really good and really necessary to check your mixes. The other thing is, when you start mixing a new show or your own show, then I would run around and check it on many different speakers. But here's the thing. After you do that a couple times, you don't have to do that anymore because you've tweaked your mix, or you tweaked your settings, and now they sound good, and that's it. Now, you just got to, make sure that what do I want to say? You can't just blindly, this was another daily goodie. Once you have your settings saved that you like, you can't really just blindly apply them every episode without listening, right? So you can save your settings that you like, you can apply them to the next episode, but then you got to listen and make sure nothing's different, because sometimes in episodes, little things are different. Sometimes people are further away from the microphone. It changes everything, right? So it's good to have presets, but then you always have to listen. Use your ears. Okay, next daily goodie. Double ums. Yes, I actually recorded an episode. It was for a client, and my client's guest, he used double ums. He didn't just say I'll give you an example. He said, so I went to the store and bought some vitamins. And I don't think I performed it very well there, but you get the idea. He literally said every he said it twice in a row. It was really weird and unique, but I don't know. It's easy to cut out, but very weird. Okay, next daily goodie. Okay, PES update 2019 fall semester. So you guys probably know that the podcast engineering school, I typically do 4 semesters a year, and the fall semester in 2019 was really awesome, really great students, and I basically wrote this post to congratulate them for finishing podcast engineering school, and it's just great. I really appreciate students who are good students. They want to learn, and when you're paying good money to really learn the professional aspects of podcast production, people tend to pay attention, and it's great because like I tell everybody, when you develop your audio skills, it doesn't just help with your podcast production. It helps in different areas of your life. You can just hear things better. You can understand things better. Okay, next daily goodie. Using EQ when mastering episodes. Okay, so as you know, the mastering step is like the very last step after you mix. And by the way, the mastering step is... most podcast producers or podcasters don't even do a mastering step. Well, actually, they do. They might upload their audio to Auphonic to level it. That would be considered mastering. But some people like me and others like to add, maybe use a little bit of EQ and a little bit of usually multi-band compression to just tighten up the mix and make it better. The last tweak, right? So one thing about EQ, though, again, the title of this daily goodie is using EQ when mastering episodes. You want to go really, really gentle on using EQ in mastering. You shouldn't have to do any drastic EQing. Little tweaks will go a long way. And sometimes some of the tweaks you might use are to add a bit of high-frequency clarity, like maybe in the 8 to 10 kilohertz range and above. Maybe remove a little low mids, some of the mud in the low mids from 250 hertz to 500 hertz. You might want to remove a bit of the ultra low frequencies like 60 hertz and below or 50 or 45 hertz and below, right? Just take a little bit of that out. Sometimes that helps clear up everything, actually. Just, subtly, but it makes a difference. And also, you might want to add a bit of mid-range from 2 to 4 kilohertz, right? That's the byte range. Anyway, those are just things you could do. That doesn't mean you have to, right? So, anyway, that's a little bit of EQing in the mastering step. Okay, next daily goodie. Pricing your podcast production services. All right, so pricing your services. If you're going to be producing or editing podcasts for other people, you have to price your services, and there's a lot that goes into this. Obviously, these daily goodies are just little tiny tips, facts, or lessons, right? This isn't a whole course. But, it depends on the clients that you're going after. Bigger companies have more money. Individual people usually have no money. So, how do you price your services? Well, first, I suggest figuring out what you would like to earn. Meaning, if you're a full-time podcast editor or producer, you want to make a living. So figure it out. What do you want to make? 50 grand a year? 80 grand a year? Then you got to do all the math backwards. So if you want to make 80 grand a year, then how many hours are you going to work every week? And then how many episodes can you do in that time, let's say in 1 week? And then anyway, you get the idea. You just got to do a bunch of get a pen and paper and just do a bunch of math. And then you can basically figure out what you need to earn per hour. And then you can translate that to what you need to earn per episode. And then you can go, let's say it's, $300 an episode you need to earn. Okay, fine. So now go out and find some clients who will pay you $300 an episode. And again, you won't be able to approach most people or most people who want a podcast or want someone to produce and edit their podcast. They're not going to be able to afford $300. They can barely afford $25 or $50, right? So now you got to go to bigger companies. So anyway, you get the idea. Pricing your services is, you got to do it carefully. And, I just bumped the mic. I just bumped the PR30. All right, next daily goodie. Why did I create Podcast Engineering School? Well, really two reasons. And I mean, you've probably heard me talk about this, so I'll just cover it quickly. The first reason I created Podcast Engineering School is because there are a lot of companies out there who want to pay individuals to produce their podcast audio, but there's a shortage of people who actually know how to do that at a professional level. It's hard to find somebody who can produce good audio. I mean, I get maybe it's not hard, but sometimes it is hard. So anyway, there's a lot of companies out there that want to hire people, but they just, but if you're living in your mom's basement and you're 19 years old and you have zero experience and you're only charging $15 per episode, no one's going to take you seriously, right? So, I mean, especially these companies with money, because they want a professional. So anyway, that's one reason I created the school, is because if you learn how to be a professional, then there's people out there who would want to hire you. The other reason is that I created the school was because many podcasters, they just really want to make their show sound better. They want to understand audio. What is really happening when I plug this microphone into this interface and then I do post-production and I'm leveling things and editing and all that? Some people just really want to know, like, what the heck is going on here? I would really like to know. So those people also really find value in Podcast Engineering School. Next daily goodie. Oh, this is a previous Goody Bag episode, but this is the one, I don't know if you heard this. It's from October 31st. It's episode 154. I actually included like a bed of music with me speaking over it, and I put there's 3 different clips, and I put my voice at 3 different loudness levels. So you can actually decide, like, which mix do you like the best? Do you like my voice really loud over the music? Or do you like my voice like sort of embedded within the music? Or do you like the music really loud and my voice like pretty much buried within the music? I don't know. It's interesting. It was an interesting little thing to do. And I was surprised. Most people chose one of the options. I'm not going to tell you which. If you haven't heard, you should go listen for yourself and choose yourself first. But most people chose one of the options, and I was a little surprised. But anyway, all right, next daily goodie, and I bumped the mic with my chin again. Anyway, I'm not used to this mic with this windscreen, but okay, headphone-only days, all right? Some days when I'm producing podcasts, I only listen with headphones. So normally I have my nice monitors, which I think we're going to talk about in a second. I listen through good studio monitors. That's my preferred way of listening. That's how any professional would prefer to produce audio, right? You have a good pair of near-field monitors, and that's it. You get to know them really well, and you can produce good audio because it's like you get to know them really well. However, it's good to also check your mixes on headphones as a professional engineer. So what I do is mostly I'm working on my monitors, but again, about once a month, I will literally not use my monitors at all, and all day long as I'm producing audio, throughout the entire day, I'll only be wearing headphones. And of course, I have, good headphones, and I use my SonarWorks to flatten out the frequencies and all. So they're good headphones. It's a good way to monitor as well. But I take one whole day, and I only monitor with headphones. And I really love doing this because, if you don't listen to your headphones enough, you sort of forget what they sound like. I mean, not really, but kind of. So it's actually good one day, maybe one day a month I do it. Maybe one day every 2 months. I don't know. But every now and then I'll do it. It really helps. Okay, next daily goodie are my studio monitors. I have the Neumann KH120A active studio monitors. And active means that they're powered, meaning they have the amplifiers for the speakers are in the actual speakers, not separate. And so these monitors are a little expensive and pretty much overkill for podcast production. You don't need to go out and spend this kind of money. But it's good to have good near-field monitors. And by the way, JBL makes a very economical but good near-field monitor speakers. And they're called the LSR 305. JBL LSR 305. They're much less expensive than what I have, and I actually haven't heard them in person, but Ralph M. Rivera bought a pair, and he really likes them. But online, even the professional engineers are saying that, look, these monitors, like, they might not be quite as good, but they are really, really close, and they are really, really good. And I think it's like $150 per monitor. So for the pair, it might cost you $300. But to have a good near-field monitor setup for $300, that's awesome. Especially if you're not a crazy person like me. Like, I'm a crazy person. Because it's my field. I need to buy everything. I need to try everything, right? So I could tell you about it. But you, for $300, get good near-field monitors. That's pretty good, man. That's really good. Because I know a lot of podcast editors and producers, they actually only use headphones to produce audio. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that. If you get to know your headphones, there's nothing wrong with that, period. But if you want, near-field monitors, that'd be good. Might be good. All right, the next daily goodie was, I posted, what does your audio equipment setup look like? And so I actually posted a picture of my little setup, which is my desk with my iMac Pro with my near-field monitors and with my MixPre-6 and all that. And then actually Ralph, I asked Ralph for a picture of his little setup, his newer setup. Oh, actually, you could see the JBL monitors in his picture there. So this one is from November 3rd on the website. What does your audio equipment setup look like? Anyway, check out our setups. And if you want to share a picture of your setup, please tag me on Instagram or Twitter at Podcast Engineer. So at Podcast Engineer on Instagram or Twitter. Send us, or just share a picture of your setup. We'd love to see it. I love pictures. Okay, next daily goodie. Should you update your computer to a newly released operating system? Yeah. Okay, so I wrote this daily goodie because of the Mac operating system. I even forget what it's called. Anyway, like a month or two ago, they released a new operating system for Macs, and a lot of people updated and immediately had major issues with software. Like, literally, the software wouldn't work. But anyway, in the last couple months, all these software companies have updated their software to work with the new update. But I literally I have a client who, to this day, for like the last month, we haven't been able to record he hasn't been able to record his side locally because his computer's all messed up because he upgraded to the new operating system. So here's the thing. Should you upgrade your computer to the newly released operating system? A lot of people in audio flat out say, no, don't do it, don't update, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like, what are you gaining? And what you're losing is you're going to lose a lot of time trying to figure stuff out and reinstalling things and all. Like, it can get crazy. I'm not saying it's always crazy. I'm sure sometimes people update their operating system on Mac and everything's fine. This time, not the case. And in the past, usually not the case. So if you want to update immediately to the new operating system, beware that you're going to probably have a bunch of problems. Or you can be like me and a bunch of other people where I don't upgrade operating systems immediately ever. Like, I'll wait a year. I don't care. Wait a year, let them figure out all the bugs, and then I'll upgrade. Or maybe not upgrade at all. Right now, my iMac Pro is about 2 years old. I haven't upgraded it. I think there's been, two upgrades since then. Don't they upgrade every year or something? So anyway, that's if you just, sometimes it's safer not to update. And it's sort of counterintuitive because you think, the new one must be the best one. And, they're putting out an update. That must mean it's way better and I should update. Well, just be careful. All right, next daily goodie. When guests connect using a Windows PC or Surface. Okay, here's the thing. When you have guests connecting online, some will connect on a Mac, some will connect on a regular PC. Others will connect on a Surface, which if they say, I guess a Surface is a PC, but I've actually had guests sort of get offended if I say, it's like a tablet, right? A Surface tablet. And they're like, no, it's a PC. Like, excuse me. Like, okay, fine, it's a PC. But here's my point with this daily goodie, okay? First of all, anything with any PC, to help a guest who knows nothing about audio, to help them figure out their mic, choose the right mic, get everything set up on their PC, sometimes it's easy. A lot of times it's not easy. Okay? Macs are a lot easier. There's one place you go, you make a change, that's it. It's done. So if it's a PC, it's usually more of a headache. But if it's a Surface PC, which I don't really know what that is, I've never had one, you just got to be even more careful because those things, I mean, to me, it looks like a tablet. And I guarantee it doesn't have the horsepower as far as processing power that a laptop has or a desktop computer has. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think those things are good, but again, audio and video take up way more processing power than any normal processes you do. Like when you go surf the web, great. Or when you listen to a new song on Spotify, great. Like a lot of things, they don't take up much CPU power. Audio takes up a lot more. Video takes up like 10 times way more. Okay? So just be aware that if it's a PC or a Surface that someone has, I would be extra careful. I would tell them to restart it. I would tell them to not open any applications that they don't need. I would tell them to turn off alerts. And I would go through my entire process because I don't know, man. And by the way, that one episode I recorded with the guy who had a Surface and he like got offended that no, it's a PC. Like we had problems. There was glitching on his file because we were using, I forget if we were using Squadcast or Zencaster, but there was some problems. And even he dropped off once, right? Because of course he's on Wi-Fi, right? So anyway, what I'm saying is with a PC or with a Surface, whatever it is, just be careful. That's all. And I bumped the mic again. All right, I think this is the last one. Yes. Okay. A guest using 2 microphones in a recording studio. Oh, this is a great story. Okay, see, I just talked about like a nightmarish story. This one is a great one because I had a guest who connected from a college recording studio, a real studio, and he used a USB microphone connected to a computer, right, to connect with us, I think through Zencaster. And in addition to that, there was an additional microphone that the studio engineer set up, and the studio engineer recorded that second microphone locally. So it was so cool. He had one microphone that was going into his computer, and that's the one that was connected to us. And he had another microphone that the local engineer was recording. And by the way, they had the microphones really close together, which is actually really important because when the guest is talking into the microphones, they should be picking up his voice equally so that if the guest drifts off microphone and you have to tell him, oh, stay close to the microphone, like you know that he's staying close to both microphones. Anyway, it was a great session. I got a high resolution local recording, which ended up being really good. And look, that's like a dream scenario, okay? That never happens. Like that literally that only happened to me once, and I don't think it'll ever happen again, but it's just pretty cool when something like that happens. All right. Oh, the next one is the Podcasters Lounge, which, by the way, Podcasters Lounge, we're doing it the first Wednesday. Yeah, first Wednesday of every month. It's a live stream. Hopefully you can come hang out and chat with us. Podcasters Lounge. We have a Facebook group too. And, another one. Actually, I do want to add a bonus. Oh, God. Marketing. A bonus. This is a bonus. You were not going to get this, but now you're getting it. Ooh, don't you feel wonderful? No, it's just I saw it and I feel like telling you, okay? Okay. This is actually the next daily goodie from the next day. Using multiple instances of the same plugin. And I don't know, to me, this is sort of common sense, but I just want to state it out loud so everyone understands. Like, when you have a plugin, like, for instance, probably the one plugin I would recommend to the average podcaster above all other plugins would be the Sheps Omnichannel from Waves, because it's a great channel strip, which has all different processors within it, including 2 de-essers. 2? Yes. And so anyway, but here's the thing. When you buy a plugin, you can use that plugin on every track if you wanted to. And you can even have a subgroup track where you use it. So you can use multiple instances of the same plugin. So you can buy that one plugin. You can use it on your voice and your guest's voice and then your other guest's voice. Like you can put the Sheps on everybody. One for you. One for you. So anyway, I just wanted to point out what to me is obvious, but again, it might not be for everyone, that you can actually use multiple instances of the same plugin. You can even chain them together, meaning use one instance of Sheps and then right after it, run the audio into another instance of Sheps. Like if you want to use two compressors, right? You could. Why not? All right, well, that's it for this Daily Goody episode. Wow, this was a long one, but I think it was pretty good. I feel pretty good. Hope you enjoyed my PR30. We're looking forward to having Michelle from Heil on the show early 2020. And thank you. Apparently this is the last episode for 2019. So I just really want to say thank you for listening and thank you for being part of this community. I'm really happy that you are continuously educating yourself on producing better audio. And over time, a lot of this stuff is just going to seep into your brain and you're going to wake up like 2.5 years from now and you're going to be like a serious audio professional, like a formidable presence in terms of audio production in the podcasting space, which I love that because the world needs to hear good audio. Like the world deserves good audio. Like you, probably, I can't stand horrendous audio. So what we're doing is actually benefiting many, many listeners around the world, you know? Like, think about it. If you produce an episode of a show and it really sounds good, you present the audio really well to provide a good listening experience to the listener, each listener. Let's say 50,000 people hear that episode. You just provided a great experience for 50,000 people. Think about that. All right, and I bumped the mic again. All right, well, thank you. We'll see you next year. Rock on. I don't know what else to say. Okay, bye.